Hi, welcome to another edition of How Did I Get Here? Today's guest is Jennifer Clavin from Mika Miko and Bleached. She's putting out her she's putting out solo singles right now under the name Dear Francis. She's also playing her first show as a solo artist on October 27th. That's this Sunday at the Heavy Manners Library in LA. I won't be there. It's also my birthday, but I just can't get down to LA. But you should go because Jen Clavin is my favorite songwriter. And I was far too giddy to do this interview. I've been trying to interview her for almost a decade now, and I can't believe it happened. So enjoy. Before we kick things off, here's a little bit of the latest release from Dear Francis. This is a song called Godheads.
I'm so sorry on a day like today. If heaven is real, then I hope you found your way. Look up for Christ's sake. What the hell will you take? I am jealous of the Godheads. Wanna believe I'm a little more bliss. When I pray, I read it from a book on my knees. Hallelujah, hallelujah.
So the format is kind of I talk you through your career journey.
Okay.
And I know that there's a lot of it.
Yeah.
And so I ask everybody the same first question. What is like the recording or the musical moment or the thing that made you go, this is my thing?
Okay. Yeah, like my personal musical moment.
Yeah.
I guess. Yeah.
Oh, and it could be anything. Like it could be like you performing, it could be something you've heard on the radio, it could be a show that you're at, it could be a familial thing, like
Well, okay. One memory that I always like speak of, which maybe goes along these lines, is like I remember like being a teenager and my friends and I don't think we'd even started our first band yet, and it ended up being I was with my sister who ended up being in Mika Miko and Bleached with me, and then our friend Jenna who was in Mika Miko. And I remember being at the Glass House, which is like a big venue in Pomona, right outside of LA. And there was we'd always go to shows every weekend, and it was probably predominantly like male bands. And then I remember this one band, F minus, was playing, and that was like the light bulb moment where I was like, wait, I could be in a band too. And it like took me seeing these girls performing that suddenly like, wait, me and my friends could start a band. And yeah, so that was the thing that like clicked to be like, I'm gonna try music. And then yeah, so is that kind of does that answer the question?
yeah, no, that is a really good answer to that. I also love it when it's something that I don't know, and I don't know F minus, so
Oh, okay, cool. Yeah. I was thinking about another band too. I thought about this the other day. I was like, wait, you know what? It was also seeing the Distillers. I was really obsessed with their first bassist, Casper. Like, she was just like so cool. So she was another like influence on me. but I think she got kicked out kind of early. But yeah, so and then I guess like then later on in life, I remember when we were recording the first big Bleached album, we were at a studio in Burbank, and I remember really feeling like this is like what I imagined recording being like. It was like kind of the studio weirdly looked like when we recorded at Sunset Sound, it was like very like 70s studio, and which makes sense. And this studio also had that 70s vibe. And maybe also because I grew up with my dad being a sound engineer. So my sister and I were always at Universal Studios in the sound department. And those studios also look very 70s. So I feel like for some reason when these studios were built, they never like upgraded them. They just always stayed like looking and smelling really 70s. And so when we were doing our recording at that studio in Burbank, I remember feeling very like at home, like, oh, this is what I want to be doing, is recording music in a studio that feels this way.
That feels like trying to like it's funny because the first thing I thought of was the scene in Walk Hard where they are trying to parody the Beach Boys recording sessions, and I'm
Wait,
picturing that
what movie?
Walk Hard, the Dewey Cox story, the John C. Reilly sort of parody of music biopics.
I never saw that. Okay, but yeah, so there's like a classic like 70s studio.
Yeah, where like
I actually do want to see that movie though. I just thought about that recently too.
yeah, and there's a lot of mustard colors.
Yeah, browns, a lot of browns.
Brown feels very homey to me.
Yeah.
Probably similar reasons. Because like I was born in '9, so like all of that aesthetic was still around when I was a kid.
Exactly. Yeah. Once I lived in a house that was made in 79, and I remember people saying like this is basically like the 70s because they didn't know the 80s yet. So even though you'd think the house was kind of 80s because it was made in 79, it was actually like mostly influenced by the 70s. So it was a lot of like wood everywhere. It was amazing.
Yeah. Well, it's like I think decades tend to start like a couple years into the decade. So yeah, like the 80s
Totally.
started in like 82, 83.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
That makes
So
sense.
Mika Miko formation. So F minus, you were there with 3/5 of the band at this F minus show.
Yeah.
How did you like? When did you become Mika Miko, and how did you decide who was doing what?
Okay, so at first, before it was Mika Miko, it was a crust grindcore type band with Jesse and Jenna and whatever guy drummer we could find that was like hanging out with us at the time. And that band was called Dead Banana Ladies. And it came because I don't know if you guys have this, but there's a big real estate company here called DBL, and I don't know what it actually stands for, but it's like one of the biggest real estate companies. And we were walking by a house, and I mean, keep in mind we're teenagers, and there was a DBL flag on this home that was trying to be sold. And we stole the flag, and we decided this would be our band flag. And so we had to figure out a name that worked with the letters DBL. So, which we came up with Dead Banana Ladies. And so Jenna sang, I played guitar, and Jesse played bass. And we would go play like these like really crusty punk shows, which usually took place at like recreation centers around LA. And there'd always be like a giant pit of like mostly boys just like running in a circle while we played on stage. And then I guess like just, your music taste changes, and we were still in high school, and we decided that we wanted to add a synthesizer to the band, which honestly, like was kind of a bold move. It was like taking us into like maybe the Locust territory or like Blood Brothers, which none of us were really fans of. And my sister got really angry and put her bass down and left the band practice. And that was like the end of Dead Banana Ladies. So then somehow Mika Miko stemmed out of that final practice of Dead Banana Ladies and worked itself into Mika Miko. At that point, I guess we had decided to like rotate like what everyone was doing. And so it was Jenna and me decided to sing together, and Jesse was still going to keep playing bass. And so that meant we needed to find a guitarist and a drummer. And my sister's boyfriend at the time drummed, so he became our drummer. And then we found Michelle, the guitarist, from because she was going to high school with us. And I remember Jenna had a class with her and was like, Michelle, will you be in our band? And so that's how Mika Miko started.
When did the telephone as microphone thing come into place?
So I just like, I think there's like, I have a very, very small like theatrical side. So I felt like as performers, I wanted us to like do something that was interesting. Like it's always on my mind a little bit of like how we're presenting ourselves. We're not just going up on stage and playing our songs. We're like also like putting on a show. So like I think part of me liked there was like a combination of okay, and I had seen a band come through the smell and do it. So I kind of did steal their idea a little bit, but I didn't originally I didn't start with the phone. My dad basically said one day, like, you can make a microphone out of anything. And so, and I'd seen this band play using a telephone mic. And so I started experimenting with other things. Like I made a hair dryer microphone. And then I also made a microphone out of like a doll. I took the head off the doll and I don't know, I was just like trying to be creative. And then also on top of that, I really liked the way it sounded because I was really insecure about my voice coming through just a normal sounding microphone. So like the piece of the telephone was such a cool sound. So yeah, when I made even when I made the doll mic or the hair dryer mic, I was still using the piece from the telephone for that sound. And then eventually they just kept falling apart. So I remember me and Kate were at we were at like an electronics store. Kate, the drummer of Mika Miko, we were at an electronics store in Hollywood, and their like phone to call, like I guess to call from one part of the store to the other part of the store was the classic red telephone, and we were like, oh my God, that needs to be the microphone. And so she stole it and that became the microphone for the end of time since the last reunion we even used it.
That's great. So there's a lot of theft apparently in your musical history.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah, I'm hoping the statute of limitations for prosecution is good. We should avoid talking about anything you've stolen during the Bleached era.
Okay, yeah, definitely. Which hopefully I don't think there is anything. We learned our lesson in the first two punk bands.
Yeah. Well, you didn't learn. I mean, it seems like it was a success on both levels.
Yeah, it was.
The theory is good.
Yeah, exactly. And yeah, it's funny. Maybe I have a little bit of klepto in me. I don't know. Maybe not. All these like celebrities, all those like 90s celebrity girls always had a little bit of klepto in them. Like Winona Ryder, and who was the other one? I can't remember, but maybe they inspired it a little bit because I grew up idolizing them.
One of my favorite moments working in retail was working at a record store, and my boss came in and just yelled out to the staff, "Hey guys, Winona Ryder's next door, so all hands on deck on the floor."
Oh my God.
And then he just cracked himself up. Like himself, like he just like started bawling in laughter.
Okay.
when I realized how proud he was that he made that
Oh
joke.
my God. One time I remember as a teenager, I went into a record store and an employee came up to me and they were like, just so you know, everyone's watching you in case you try to steal something. And I was like so offended because that was never the plan. But yeah.
Yeah, I mean, maybe that should be a point of pride.
Here, please. Yeah.
Yeah, my other favorite thing working at a record store is wasn't always bearded, but always kind of long haired and sort of shaggy. And people kept asking me if I sold weed.
That's really funny.
Yeah, never even something remotely near me, but nonetheless.
I guess if you were wearing a tie-dye shirt, I could understand.
Yeah, but we had a uniform, so I was wearing the
So
uniform.
you weren't. Okay.
Yeah.
That's
So
really funny.
so Mika Miko, which had a pretty intense impact on like a very like it's funny because I don't think anybody in Mika Miko at the time was like out, but somehow like it felt like that band created or helped like make the queer punk scene up here in the Bay Area. And yeah, I don't even know if I have a question there, but like, how does it feel to be like somehow part of that research?
Yeah. Well, it's funny because when we were doing the reunion show, I guess people were joking to Kate, like, oh, was anyone, or you guys didn't have gay fans until Kate later came out. And and we were like, I don't know, I just like remember that. Like, but I guess that's not true because um yeah, I don't know, that's really cool because I guess just like everyone, I don't know, I guess us as a band were very free to be whatever we wanted to be. So I guess maybe that just rubbed off on people just feeling comfortable to be whoever they were. And I feel like we also had a lot of we always would have like our roadie, I feel like would always be like our gay best friend at the time. Oh, I think I might need to Honey Bear, 1 second. Okay, cool. Yeah, I realized as we were about to do this interview, I was like, oh no, it's Tuesday. It's like the neighborhood gardening day. So
Yeah,
the dogs just go crazy.
we recently adopted a puppy who's I guess 9, 10 months old now or so. Like as she gets older, there are more and more things that make her go a little nuts.
Yeah,
So
like gardeners.
I'm hoping that there's a switch at some point where things make her less nuts, but we'll see.
Yeah, I feel like one thing I wish I had done, it was like almost introduce Benny to the things that are stressing him out to make him like not afraid of gardeners, or which I know is like you're just supposed to expose them to these things while giving them treats.
Yeah.
So,
Kind of what we do is that's
what kind of dog?
a little of everything.
Okay.
We were told she was a Chihuahua French bullfrog, but I'm
Oh.
pretty sure there's some corgi in there and something else.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, she's long, like yeah,
Oh, like a dachshund?
like a dachshund long. Yeah.
Oh, nice. Cute.
Yeah, and yeah, I don't know if you've listened to many of these or any of these, but there's always some digression like that. You talking about pets, so
Okay, cool. We also, if we're gonna talk about pets, we also rescued. So I have Benny, who I've had for 10 years now, but my partner and I rescued a Catahoula leopard dog, which a lot of people don't know what it is, but it's just a dog breed that is like the Louisiana state dog. And he is missing a leg and he's deaf. Yeah, and he's really pretty. He has White Walker eyes. And he just stares because he's deaf. So some people are almost scared of him at first because he's staring so intensely. But he just like wants to see everything because he can't hear. And he's like the sweetest dog. I swear people are gonna start learning about Catahoula leopards in the next few years because they're just so amazing.
yeah, I'll have to link a picture out. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and yeah, we have a blind cat who there's similar weirdness, whereas like he always walks like really close to the floor and is like
Aw.
sniffing a lot.
Oh, that's
He's
so
oh,
cute.
yeah. Anytime anything is out of place, it's as if we destroyed his universe, which I get.
Yeah, me too. Totally. I'm kind of like
Um,
that myself, just like a little OCD, but
yeah, I guess blindness and OCD have similar qualities. Okay, so we've been talking for half an hour and we're at over 20 years ago still.
oh my God. Okay.
When did Mika Miko break up?
Yeah, I think that was our last show. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So what was the stretch between Mika Miko and starting Bleached with Jess?
Okay. Yeah. So we finally decided to end Mika Miko because I know like we were still very young, and to do Mika Miko, we all kind of had to like drop out of school, or we couldn't even go to community college or college at all. So we finally decided like, you know, everyone wants to pursue other things, so let's quit the band. But then I guess that's when I realized like I actually didn't want to pursue other things and I still wanted to just do music. And so I went on to join a band in New York whose name I will not mention. And but seeing how successful they were, it was like a different, it was what I always wanted Mika Miko to be, but I just feel like we never could figure out how to make it as professional. I saw it with them, and so I was like, okay, this is actually like possible and I'm learning a lot. So that's when I asked my sister, but it was really hard being in someone else's band. So then that's when I asked my sister, like, hey, do you want to start a new band? And so we started Bleached like pretty much right away. I want to say that was also probably 2010. So when I'd kind of go on tour with this band, but then I would come back home for like a trip for like a week or two, and we would start recording like songs. And then I feel like that took off pretty quickly. And because I've actually been reflecting on that time starting my new solo project, and it's because I'm just kind of like thinking like, wow, that was such a different time than it is now. I don't even know if what was happening there with all the bands that we were also like surrounded by, like if that well, if anything like that could ever exist again. Like I felt like such a specific time of like really cool bands and energy, like all just taking off before like social media hit.
Yeah, I mean that's when Spinning Platters started.
Cool.
Yeah, so that was like what I like to call like the indie rock sort of blog, sort of hot spot where like it was easier to access music because like YouTube was around, so you could stream for cheap, but also like you weren't stuck. You could create a zine that could be published for almost free. It
Hmm.
was just really easy to write and share things that were exciting. And it's still not everybody was doing it, so there was still like a sense of, because I like put the effort and energy into designing a site, then I could like share with you what's exciting me, which was you in 2010, to be bluntly honest.
Nice.
Yeah, like when I was already like I found Mika Miko working at the music store, and like I convinced Kill Rock Stars to send us promos, even though it was a chain music store and we didn't actually carry a lot of Kill Rock Stars stuff. And yeah, and so they and yeah, people did not like it when I played your music in the store. So
Oh my God, that's so funny. I
um
love that.
but although the only time anyone ever told me to turn anything off, weirdly enough, was the Master of Puppets record, which somebody just said, yeah, this is too much, and I don't feel comfortable being here.
That is so weird.
Yeah, and Meal Variations by Tom Waits, another one where someone
Oh.
said, this makes me uncomfortable. Can you turn this off? Either which way. So it makes sense that like Bleached had like a fast turnaround, and like a similar thing came up when I interviewed someone who I think you're friends with, Bethany Cosentino,
Yeah.
because because Best Coast had a similar the noisier, less accessible project ended. This one started and it kind of went viral, if you will, pretty quickly.
Yeah, like viral for that time. Totally. Like how much something could go viral in 2010.
Yeah, man, I kind of miss 2010 internet.
Oh my God, same.
But also, so with Bleach, your evolution as a songwriter was like light years. Like,
Oh, thanks.
yeah, like you, and even like with each record, like it felt like your early singles still had that like that sort of a little bit of the punky messiness, and then things kind of got intense. When did you like? I mean, it's a weird thing. It's hard to phrase this question, but like, how did you find a way to start writing so much more personally?
Yeah, good question. Yeah, okay. It's funny because I think with Mika Miko, every now and then I'd get a little personal, like kind of as personal as you can get at that age, you know? But at the same time, I think I was just learning how to write lyrics. So a lot of times, I remember one song Jenna and I wrote Open the Newspaper, and we literally were just singing lines out of the newspaper. And then with Bleached, it was like, okay, well, now I'm the only songwriter, lyric writer in this. So I have to just write what I know. And I guess life had gotten really, really complicated for me at that time. Whatever age that was, like, I guess early 20s. No, would it be early 20s? Somewhere in your 20s. That's so weird to think. Um, yeah, life was like really, really hard. So I guess I was like just kind of writing lyrics from the heart. And yeah, and I think a lot of times too, like, songwriting and is kind of like a form of therapy. So I guess that was also like my early experiences with like my own self therapy was like going and putting it all out in a song. So yeah. Yeah. It wasn't like there wasn't really like it almost like there wasn't really an option to like hold back with what I wanted to say. That didn't occur to me, I think. Like, I shouldn't say this. Because I even think about it too sometimes. I'm like, remember when we all like had our Twitters and say whatever you want? I feel like I used to just say the craziest stuff that would just come to mind. And I think it's the same thing with songwriting is like you just say what's like causing you the most pain in that moment and you put it into lyrics. So yeah.
Yeah, it. God, I could just peg out lyrics, but I don't have the time to go in.
That's so nice because I honestly feel like it's nice to hear this because I still feel like I struggle with lyrics. Like they're never good enough in my opinion. And unless every now and then I hit the nail on the head and I'm like, that it's very rare that I'm very happy with all the lyrics. So yeah, it's really nice to hear because I just feel like that's something I'm always trying to understand where I'm at with it. So thank you.
Yeah. So I mean, I think I've told you this off the record, just in like fan encounters, but "Dead in Your Head" is the perfect breakout song.
Oh my God, yeah. I
And,
remember
yeah,
saying this.
yeah, and it's like you've managed to like really hit the whole like, yeah, this wasn't right. This wasn't really supposed to be a relationship that was supposed to happen, but it's still hard. And
Totally.
like the complexity of the complexity of emotion that you fit in 3 minutes is, yeah,
Nice.
like it's, yeah. So like that's one of like the rare like I've cried at a concert songs.
Oh my God. Wow. Thank you. That makes me feel really good.
Yeah,
To
you're
be able to make someone cry is like my ultimate goal. In a good way.
okay.
In a
I was
good
gonna say
way.
that's
So like, okay, let me rephrase that. To make someone cry because they need to release something that's been pent up inside is like is a really feels like a job well done as far as lyrics writ that I've written. I don't know if that made sense the way I said
oh
that, but
oh no, it does.
yeah, I just wanted to say too is like it's so whenever I get feedback like that, it it feels so nice because a lot of times I'm just putting in what I don't know, it's kind of like you go to like another state of mind when you're writing something so like deep and personal and you're kind of almost trusting like what's happening. You're trying not to overthink it and you're trying to just trust what's coming out. And so then knowing that it actually like that then in the with like your feedback or past feedback where it's like someone's made complete sense of that small pocket of time is like it's like it feels like yeah just like a really major accomplishment of like okay cool that did it all came together in the way that it was meant to be and I'm glad I didn't like overthink it and I'm glad I just let it come out the way that it was meant to and that it ended up working out. So I guess there's like a lot of trust involved as well.
Yeah, I mean it's I've done enough of these to pick up on that. Like, the best songwriting is when you let go of that side of you that's second guessing you. It's
Hmm.
like, um,
Totally.
speaking of letting go, so I try to keep these in chronological order. Welcome to Worms is the now I want to make sure I'm getting the chronology right here. Did you stop drinking during the creation of that record or after?
It was actually we had already recorded the record and we were in the middle of recording and that's when we were actually at Sunset Sound and then I had gotten sober like right before while the record it was in production. It was we were making yeah.
Yeah, the yeah, it's funny because like I there's definitely like a fighting for clarity happening on that album, which also makes sense with the title.
Yeah,
Um,
totally.
and yeah, and it's funny because Keep on Keeping On isn't necessarily like I mean, I think I take use that song as I need with for just for the chorus, just as the I need to get out of this rut.
Hmm.
Um, what what music did you use to kind of help you get through that?
Like what music was I listening to?
Yeah, was that yeah, what were you listening to? What helped guide you through what I expect to be a really intense and difficult period?
It's funny because I'm remembering more so what I was listening to right before I got sober.
Hmm.
Because I was like, I was like, had a friend that was basically like, kept like having these parties, and I'd always be at them and they'd go really late. And everyone would just kind of like be partying, but like also listening really intensely to music. And so there was like a lot of like, I cannot remember any of the artists because they were all like rare 70s disco tracks. And like one of them, all I can remember is one of them is called, I think, Bumblebee. And it's like, Let Me Be Your Ladybug. It's like a really weird song where there's like really high voices happening. And I feel like there was probably a lot of drugs involved in making that song. But yeah, I was really obsessed with like the way that I think the bass was sounding like listening to a lot of that music, like the bass lines, and they're always so like good and like dancey and catchy. Because a lot of times like bass will just like keep kind of almost do the same thing as the drums, like just keep the rhythm and just be like kind of a background sound. Or I feel like you can actually use the bass to make these really amazing melodies, which I think Jesse's always been really good at. It's like sometimes out of that part of the song, my favorite part will be the bass line that Jesse's playing. And so, yeah, so I feel like I was just like suddenly really obsessed with bass. And then when I got sober, I literally have no idea what I was listening to, which is like maybe a little bit sad.
I mean, it's okay. Yeah.
We were probably like literally that time was so busy that we were probably just like constantly practicing, traveling, playing a show. So I'm sure like whenever we'd be in the car, like on tours, I do know I was playing a lot of that same music. I was still really in the like these 70s disco. I was really into playing those. But other than that, I can't totally remember what I was obsessed with. Oh, actually, the only thing I can remember is I had learned about Joyce Manor and I was obsessed with Joyce Manor. There we go.
It's funny because that's probably about the time where I first picked up on them. And I think I was at a festival and Joyce Manor were playing at the same time as someone I really liked, and all my friends deserted me. I think they're playing at the same time as like Tune Yards.
Okay, yeah.
Um,
And you went to go see Joyce Manor?
no, I went to see Tune Yards, and all my friends.
Oh, and to
I
go,
was like,
they went. I
this
see.
Joyce Manor band.
Yeah, I remember being on tour and always seeing like their record everywhere, like either at a record store. Or I remember one night some guy was DJing it, and I was like, I need to give that band a listen. Like, this is getting ridiculous. And then, yeah, once I listened, I was like, hey, totally, this is awesome. But yeah, sorry, what were you gonna say?
I lost my train of thought completely.
Okay.
So you took that disco and you actually like the next record seems to like sound like that in some ways, like pulling out like some real like funk bass lines, and like I always think of them, and I feel like a terrible fan because I'm spacing on the name. Don't you
Are
think
you
you've had
thinking of
enough?
Kiss You Goodbye? Don't you think you've had enough? Yeah.
Yeah, and Kiss You Goodbye.
Oh, the album. Yeah, the
Like
album. Don't you think you've had
like
enough?
it's funny because I always think of that as like the the Blondie move.
Totally.
It's
I
still
love
like,
Blondie.
you still sound like you, and maybe it's mostly Bleached Blondie, like the names are the same process,
Yeah.
or one leads to the other.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, but you mentioned earlier that Jess stormed out when you pulled out a synthesizer. How on board was she with the disco move?
Yeah, she was totally on board because she loves disco. Because she's also a roller skater. So I think when you're a roller skater, you just naturally love disco. Yeah, so she was, and then she also really loves Heart. I feel like they maybe go down that path a little bit. I'm
Yeah.
not like the biggest Heart fan, so I don't know. I respect them and I think they're super cool, but I would just imagine them having a little bit of disco, but maybe I'm wrong about that.
I can't, I mean, Heart put out a lot of, I would be like moderate Heart fan. There are too many Heart records to get into all of them. I think they kind of went more 80s pop than disco.
Okay. What about, yeah. I feel like the other thing too is like we always like respect bands that like have a big bass presence no matter what they're doing. Like even Metallica, with Cliff Burton, is that his name? Yeah, with Cliff Burton. Like I feel like there's that one song where he has that whole like bass solo, and so it's kind of just like I guess having fun with the bass was because also in Mika Miko there was even some like dancey bass stuff happening, and Jess played bass in that too.
That's true. I like Mika Miko were almost almost disco punk at times.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah, where this was a little bit more polished, although still not like, man. I think Valley to LA is the song on that record that, which is not your heaviest lyric, but like gets me in the spine. Like just the it reminded me of reading Perks of Being a Wallflower up until the point it got really dark. Where it's just like
Cool.
this is that warm, fuzzy, like this is what going out as a kid is like.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Okay. So you mean like all the lyrics of that song?
yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Because that's really interesting. Because I feel like one of my not so strong suits in lyric writing, which I'm now trying to get better at, is the storytelling aspect of lyric writing. I think I'm good at painting a picture in a way, but there's some people that are just really good at storytelling, and I feel like that song taps into that.
Mhm.
So yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, it has. I mean, it doesn't. I mean, it even does kind of have a definitive like beginning, middle, and end, even though it's like a snapshot of like yeah, it's a it's a good song. That's
Cool, thanks.
gosh, so many running out of time, and I decided not to write down questions for this one, which may have been a mistake. The to jump back a little, the how do you deal era.
Can you deal?
First, the zine. Did you really expect Lizzo to blow up like that?
No, like I literally didn't. Yeah, that was yeah. That must have been like right before she blew up,
Mhm.
right? Yeah, I think that was like also such early sobriety for me that when I look back, because I recently found the zine, and I was like, it's like a weird point in time where I'm like, wait, did this zine even happen? Like, how did this zine happen? Like, looking at all the names in it, I'm like it doesn't almost like doesn't make sense to me. And I'm like, does anyone even know this zine exists? Like, unless
Well, I do. I still, again,
yeah. So I'm glad.
admittedly a super fan, and I just
Oh, thank
allow
you.
that to be me. And yeah, it's funny because like I read it, and there's Corin Tucker has a zine called Hey Sound Guy that I would give anything to find a copy of, where it's kind of similar,
Oh.
where it's that one is specifically a diary of sound guys belittling female performers.
Oh my god, how did I not know about the zine?
Well,
When did this happen?
it happened in like I think it was the Dig Me Out tour that she documented it on. So it was like 97, 98.
My god,
No
that is
idea
amazing.
if there's any copy, and I only know about it. I've never seen pictures, but it's apparently around somewhere.
Well, if I ever get to meet her, I'll ask her for you.
Please.
'Cause
Actually,
now I'm curious.
yeah. But yeah, it's crazy seeing like the range of artists that have all kind of had the same story.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, like it's yeah. I've always like jokingly wanted to start an interview with a male musician. It's like, what's it like being a man in music?
I think you should. Definitely.
Yeah, but that record, or the EP, also like was very much of the Trump era, and things have been up and down so much since that happened. How do you manage creating during chaos?
I guess like okay, so I think with that it's really hard to find there's like a positive and a negative because I think like when it's chaotic, like it's hard to find the time to figure out when to create because it's almost like your brain is going a million different places. And then but then I also think it does the opposite as well where it can be like very it can just help inspire, I guess, get in touch with whatever's happening inside and try to use it to also create. So I think it's like just finding like because once you like, I feel like once you can like lock in to what you're trying to do, then it can get, then you can suddenly like get lost in the creating. And that's really nice. But it kind of takes, I think, a while to like get there. But then I also just feel like life is always chaotic. I'm just, yeah. It's just like about, I guess a lot of times it's about, I've read this from other musicians and artists that, you know, but like they need to give themselves a regimen. And I really feel like that's so real because I know when I've had regiments and maybe I'm not feeling super creative, but then like you just kind of like give yourself this exact time from, I don't know, maybe waking up early to like every day, just those picking the times that work for you and do it every day. And maybe even picking a more time than because you never know, the last hour could be where you finally figure out really cool stuff. So yeah, I feel like that's what's really important is just actually giving yourself order when everything else is so chaotic.
That feels about right.
Yeah.
So, gosh, I've got probably. Do you have a little extra time?
Yeah, I was gonna say that. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So before I dig into Dear Francis, what is the story with Bleached right now? I mean, it's you and your sister, so I don't foresee you ever actually breaking up because
Yeah.
that would require tension in the family.
Yeah. No, like yeah, so basically what ended up happening with Bleach is like we had put out the last album, Can You Deal? No, sorry, Can You
Right.
Deal? I'm doing the same thing. I was gonna tell you when you couldn't remember the name, I also couldn't remember the
Well,
name.
it's also
So you think you had enough.
it's yeah. I was gonna say it's also a long title.
And so we put that out and then we kind of like things got really complicated with our manage and it kind of threw the record cycle off. And so what we thought would maybe just be a cool idea was to restart writing a new record. So we had started, this is back right before the pandemic happened. So we had started writing an actual like EP that we like wanted it to be really rock and roll. And then the pandemic hit and we were like, we were also freaked out, like, you know, I'm type 1 diabetic, so I didn't know what this meant for diabetics. Like I just and then, you know, and then so and then I ended up like staying like for outside of LA. So we couldn't really meet up. So we were trying to write on Zoom together. But it actually just like suddenly I think we saw what life was like not touring all the time and taking care of ourselves and our health and so we just like it just went into like this crazy pause and I don't know when it will come out, but I don't feel like Bleach is over, but I don't know when the next thing will be happening.
Yeah.
And yeah, and I feel like what I have noticed is like with myself, but I'm not really sure if my sister is like, I feel like I have come around to like having the break I really needed to now being like, if something were to happen, I would be ready for that to start happening again.
Yeah, it also kind of reminds me of one of my favorite an interview with one of the guys in Cool and the Gang of all people.
Cool.
It was in 2021 where he was or well late 2020 where he was looking at the tour dates that were canceled and he was sitting at home and he said, "Man, like I haven't just been at home in like 40 years.
Yeah.
This is nice." And then he'd look at his tour schedule and go, "I I don't want to do that."
Yeah. Totally. Yep.
Yeah. So yeah, I get it. So which I guess takes us to Dear Francis,
Yeah.
which seems like it started out as demos and now it's what I guess what does the future hold with Dear Francis?
Yeah. So I guess I'm kind of trying to figure it out as I go as well with that because what ended up happening is like then in the pandemic, my roommate at the time had built us a studio and just in the garage. And so I had this place to go and just kind of explore like that type of style of music, which I'd always like wanted to make, but didn't really know how. So I just started like working on these solo songs and then I ended up meeting my partner. So we did the whole like road trip thing that everyone was doing. And I brought an acoustic guitar. So I was able to like kind of work on songs while we were traveling. And so I suddenly had like so many demos but I still was just like really unsure of what to do. Like I just didn't feel confident in my own recording skills, but I felt like and I would try to record with a couple people and I felt like suddenly the songs were just sounding so produced. And so I was in a real like dilemma with it. And it's like the demos aren't good enough, but then when I work with people it's like they're too professional. So I felt so that's when I decided I really want to put out Touchdown, the 4-track recording that I just always kept coming back to thinking I really like this recording. And so that's when I just decided to put that out. And then but my goal is also with that song is to still do a more pop produced version of that song because I think it would sound really good with drums. And I just had to find like the right person that understands the sound I'm looking for. And then, yeah, and then Randy and I met up after our friend passed away and he was like, "Oh, what are you doing?" I was like, "Oh, I have all these demos." And he was like, "Well, do you want me to try to record something for you?" So we started recording a bunch of songs. And it's still funny because it's like the sound was still being explored during our writing sessions to where we'd record a whole song and then I would be like, no, this still isn't the sound that I'm trying to like go for. But when we did Godheads, that was the sound I wanted. I had no question about it. I was like, this is exactly what I want this sound to be. So that's why I decided to definitely release that one. And then I have two more songs I recorded with Randy, but one of them like it kind of like it's almost like maybe one day I'll release that like down the line. And then the other one I'm trying to decide if it's worth putting it out before the new year or wait till the next year. Yeah, it's just like and then there's like a part of me too that's like I still have so many demos that I love and while I have all these demos that I love, I also keep writing new songs. So I'm like, do I just like self-record an EP with my 4-track and just put that out, or do I just keep? I don't know. It's like I don't know why it was like so much easier with Mika Miko and Bleach to figure it out, and this project has been a little more challenging.
Well, you had other people to help with the decisions.
Totally, exactly.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
It's even, yeah, it might be why so many even solo artists have their collaborator.
Hmm.
I love the way the demos sound.
Thank you.
Like I would definitely I would be happy with it. I don't know what that means to the greater whole.
Okay, cool.
You also are dealing with the audience that you have to work the least to sell yourself to. So yeah, although I do want to talk a little bit about Godheads specifically. So a lot of your music has been you like tapping into something about me, and this is very selfish at that point, where it's like this is like a songwriter that gets me. Godheads was the first time I was like, this is something that an experience that like I don't have, that I don't know. And I'm like, I I get it. Like losing somebody and like that complexity of like being okay with losing them because you have to be okay with it, but also that that line, I'm so jealous of the Godheads, is just it's just yeah, it's just really like poignant and well crafted and really just like just hits that. And I was like, I want to give you a hug right now.
Oh my God, thank you. Thank you so much. Yeah, that means a lot. That was also a moment that like I wasn't overthinking it. I was just like playing guitar in the backyard the day after, I think it was maybe the day after I'd found out that my friend had passed away. And it just like came out. And I was like, this is it. Like, this is this. I got really excited. Like, get, whenever I like figure out a piece of the puzzle to a song, like you're like this, you can like build off of it, whether it's a really cool verse or a chorus. It's like it feels really good because it's like, okay, I now have like a solid starting point to what this is about to be. And I felt like that really was like speaking from the heart. Like it really summed up what I'd been feeling for like a while.
Good work.
Thank you.
Before we wrap this up, I do want to throw out just one more deep Clavin comment question thing. Just times that you've helped me get through something hard.
Nice.
And you probably don't even remember doing this particular one, but I was in a pretty dark place most deep pandemic, and you were on Instagram, I think it was, just doing like snippets of just like covers.
Yeah.
And the one that broke me out of the funk one day was Jellyhead.
Oh my God. I have been trying to get that song together for this show that I'm playing. So now that you said that, sometimes, you know what's so crazy is like sometimes if I'm like playing a song, I think it kind of depends what part of my cycle I'm in, but like I'll suddenly hit a melody and I won't be able to sing it because I'll feel so emotional to where I'm like, I if I don't stop, I'll like cry. And that song, half the time, will do that to me. Like when that chorus comes in, like that melody that it goes to with the way the words like flow, like it like well, it hits me sometimes. Like I'm like, okay, I hope if I play this song live, I'm not just gonna suddenly want to cry.
The over and over, that part.
Yeah, yeah, that part. And then when it goes the over and over, I feel like boyfriend, you're alone. It's like, I don't know, it's every part of that chorus. It's like, yeah, it's really good. I don't know what that is. Like, I wonder sometimes, like, when I suddenly feel so emotional about a part of a song, I'm like, is that some like magic happening with the notes? And like, I don't know how to explain what that is, but
I mean, it's a well crafted pop song now. All right, I need to look up who actually wrote Jellyhead because I'm
yeah, maybe they wrote some other amazing, like,
well, I have a feeling it was like one of those. I don't know these names at all. Pete Smith, Johnny Mayle, Danny Mateo, DeMattos. It's interesting is like none of these songwriters even have like a link on Wikipedia. So like
yeah, because it's like if they'd written some other hit, it would be linkable.
yeah,
Interesting. Who are these guys?
Danny DeMattos is he is currently working as a tutor and a voiceover specialist in Portugal. Yeah, like his man.
Oh, okay.
Also, just the one thing I do love about current internet is I can just like answer that question.
Yeah.
Who are the Jellyhead songwriters and
Yeah,
what are they up to
totally.
right now?
Yeah.
Okay, so you are playing a show October 27th at
Yeah.
what is the space you're playing it again?
It's called Heavy Manners. I've never been there, but it's like a library of some sort. And my friend Sean Solomon is having his art show. And then I guess bands play like I've been told it's a basement, but yeah,
Yeah,
in Echo Park.
during my uh grindcore days, if you will, because I did have a grindcore band too.
Nice.
We
Cool.
we played a lot of spaces like that. We pretty much only played spaces like that.
Yeah,
Yeah, the weirdest was
totally.
the fashion show. That was
Oh,
uncomfortable. Not
that's okay. So that's like my new dream now. My goal is to have Dear Francis play a fashion show. So just putting it out there
all right.
into the universe.
Well, it's gonna it's gonna be on the internet in like a week or so.
Okay, cool.
So we need to make sure that the right people hear this.
Here, yeah,
I mean,
exactly.
again, Bikini Kill played fashion shows all the time.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, I didn't know
Oh,
until I read the
cool.
book, and I was like, oh yeah, that was a thing.
Yeah, cool.
So, all right, well, thank you so
That
much
makes sense.
for um this is one of my interview bucket list ones, so thank you.
Cool. Thank you.
Yeah, and I hope I haven't been too much of a nuisance trying to make this
No,
happen.
I've really enjoyed this interview. And also, this is my second, because I did one yesterday. So you're my second solo interview. Like, because I was saying yesterday, I was really scared doing it without my sister. And so I think that warmed me up. And today was it was really fun. And thank you so much.
Standing here in a skirt that's way too short. Can you tell I never lose? Run as hard as you can. Score that goal. I admire the man in you that can do anything he wants to. But I know the rules of the game and I swear to play fair. So touchdown, stay close to the ground. Touchdown, fuck from the start.